Greetings, greetings, greetings. We are here in the lab once again. We're here in the lab again. Once again, Ron Teller in the house, as always, bam. And as always, we got a special guest. Like we say, all our guests are special. We got a special guest tonight, this evening, right here. Sister Temakha Maakheru in the house, a great artist here in the country, when I say the country, in the U.S. And for the world, for that matter, bam. Sis, we glad to have you. Peace and blessings.
I'm glad to be here. Peace and blessings to you also.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And, Ron, tell that we simple format. We have conversation. But what we always got to do, we got to ask the people want to know, who are you? Who are you?
I am that I am. And as a medicine woman that has many offerings in the form of music, in the form of meditations, and ultimately in the form of good vibes.
All right. And so, again, in our community, in the Black community, the African community, what we do this thing right there. We're going to ask, who your people? Who
my people? So I come from a very mighty bloodline. My immediate parents are Marcel and Tanya Benton. Ever came out of South Philadelphia. And I also have a younger brother who lives here in Savannah as well. His name is Devontae Benton. He and I are partners in our music making. He makes a lot of the compositions. He cooks up the beats, and I come through with the lyrics and the cadence. And that is my immediate family that lives here in Savannah, Georgia. Most of the rest of my family is in Philadelphia. I have some family in North Carolina. I have some family in Florida. I got peoples everywhere, cousins everywhere, but most importantly, my immediate support base here in Savannah, Georgia is my mother, my father, and my brother.
And that's it exactly. Because again, with us, family is important because then people begin to connect. They hear where you're from, or they also know family members. Bam, that brings them in. Because that's why some of y'all don't realize when the Black community going to say, hey, who your people? Because we're about trying to make connections. We ain't trying to be distinct, it's be separate. We trying to find ways that we can connect again. And so now we go with regards to this. Who inspires you? Who inspires you?
My biggest inspiration would have to be the Most High, the greatest artist that has ever been. And from the Most High, there's some. Another one of my biggest inspirations. I get a whole lot of creativity just by sitting at the base of a tree. Savannah has so many beautiful parks that I love, so many beautiful bodies of water that I go, and that's where I go to really let go, observe dragonflies and butterflies and just see the clouds go by. It brings me a lot of peace and it allows my creativity to flow in a natural way. But if I have to be honest, my biggest inspiration, just life-wise, be the Most High, known by many names, but ultimately the most creative, the most flavorful essence we have access to in this life, this thing that we call life. So that's me. That's my inspiration.
Yes, indeed. Powerful, powerful indeed. And so now we roll on to this right here. What song or songs give you that? What songs give you that when you hear it, it like bam, it's like it sends you to another level. And that way it can be a song or songs, and it's all on you, sis. It's all on you.
There's a couple songs, okay?
That's
So
right.
one that
That's like that.
the first one that came to mind when you asked me that question is Rock Steady, Aretha Franklin. Anytime that song comes on, especially like Saturday morning when the house needs to get clean, like that's the jam. Anything that James, my jam. Funky Good Time, Papa Don't Take No Mess. There's just so much. The Big Payback. There's just so much. I really appreciate what James Brown gave us. Another thing, maybe on the more cool, chill, mellow vibe is, of course, I receive a lot of inspiration from Lauryn Hill, a lot of inspiration from Erykah Badu, a lovely abundance of inspiration from Jill Scott, who's also coming out of Philadelphia. And music is my first love. So it lists, but when you say give me that, like you said James Brown, it's that Aretha Franklin.
All right, that's it. That's it. And so we're gonna roll into with regards to you on things what you're doing. You talk about meditation. What is meditation to you? What is that about? Meditation.
What is meditation? So there's so many approaches, there's so many opinions. Meditation to me is focusing my mind on something, anything, deliberately. I can meditate on what I want to cook for dinner. I can meditate on what it is I need to put on my farmer's market list, because I love going to the farmer's market on Saturday mornings. I can also meditate on what I need to focus on in my spirit, focus on in meditation is healing, restoring a level of peace, restoring a level of balance. The most important thing that I think anyone should meditate on is peace, because from that state of relaxation, from that state of not needing, not wanting, not desiring, you can receive so much from your connection to what is. So meditation to me is just simply focusing your mind on something, focusing your thoughts on something, anything or nothing. If you practice enough, you might get to the level B, but it's a practice, but it's something that we're always doing. Sometimes when I'm working with the youth and I mention meditation, they all do the like pose. And I think that's awesome. That's a cool logo to bring meditation to mind. But I remind my people, I remind my students, I remind my peers that we're always meditating. Thought about that. You plotted on, okay, I want to drive that beautiful baby blue Mustang. Like you thought about it. That was a meditation. So it's on the simple level, it's a focusing of your thoughts. And that's where the power is. Where the focus of the thoughts go, that's where the energy flows. And my duty and what I do with the work that I do is attempt to enthusiastically encourage others to focus your thoughts on what is true, focus your thoughts on what is good, focus your thoughts on things that are going to bring you fruitful outcomes, as opposed to focusing on things that are going to keep you kind of spinning in a space that's not going to. So in a nutshell, a big nutshell, that's what my approach to it, what I would define as meditation.
All right, cool. Yes, indeed. And Brother David Banner, glad to have you on. And to the rest of you checking out Run Tell That, we say share on all platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and also on Ruco Television. So now we go to another thing, another element, and that is music. What is music to you?
Music is love. Music is trance-inducing medicine. Music is memory. Music is water. Music is everything. I begin my day with music. I end my day with in my space. I'm singing music. If there's no singing, I'm hearing music. Music is everything. To me, music is life, just like water is life. It's that flow. It's that trance. You can hear a song one time, and if you appreciate it, if you put an emotion of, oh, I like that with it, you can remember that song forever. And that song can carry you. And the more you peel back the layers, one song that I've been chewing on is Mother's Finest, Changes. How love changes, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Changes. That's what love puts you through. And it's like, of course, I connoisseurs of music, more so my mom, like she can put on a record and be like, she can tell you the year that it was made, the artist, you know, where they first performed. Like she's really like Jeopardy when it comes to the music game. She really loves to understand and to dive deep into artists. And when you grow up into it, it's one thing, but now that I'm coming into to get even more from those meditations or more from those trances they induce, because at first you listen to it like, yeah, I like that, it feels good, but when you really listen to the lyrics and you allow it to speak to where you are in your personal experience, music is magic in that experience. You know, you can have one artist perform one song, you know, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, Gladys Knight. You can have these artists perform one song in one time and space, but for eons we can connect with that and find a level of meaning and glean wisdom from those songs. So to me, music is magic. Music is everything. I don't know how fun and enjoyable life would be without it. I don't even want to imagine or think about that. Music is so key. To me, it's like music and meditation hold hands.
And that's what we realized. That's what we realized. That's why we threw it out there to you like that. And so also it's another element. We say to everyone out there, share, share, share. Run, tell that. And my sister, this is what the deal is now. You talk about something. You call music medicine. You call what you do medicine. What is the medicine that you produce? What is the medicine that you're giving out to us? Is it something that we can buy over the counter, or is it something that we can go out into nature and pull? What is it? Give us the medicine. Because I know some people, when they heard that, they were like, she said medicine? Music medicine? This is medicine? So go ahead and give them the medicine, my sister.
Well, I must be forthright and discerning with that. All music is not medicine.
Go ahead.
Beat with a rhyme is not medicine. Everything that you may hear on the radio is not medicine. Some of that is junk food. It's like I go to the grocery store, I can buy my zucchini and my cabbage and my dairy free coconut milk and almond milk, or I don't want to put any brands out there, but tortilla chips that don't have any real content to them, or candy that doesn't have any real nourishment in it. So growing up listening to music, I didn't know that I was going to be in a space where I would produce my own music. Of course, my first career was professional modeling. So music and modeling, music playing. So you would always catch me singing, you know, backstage. And even prior to that, I used to sing in the choir a lot with my father when we grew up in church. So music has always been something that I felt was an act of worship. My introduction to music was it's an act of worship. It's an act of coming together and singing praises, singing things that are encouraging, singing things that are truthful. They carry me through, you know, those truthful anchors that you can really grab onto when life gives you the changes that life gives you. So I have to say that all music is not medicine. However, the music that I focus on and the music that I aim to produce, it's experiences that I've gone through that were painful. Pain, instead of being like, ow, it hurts, let me go talk about how much it hurts. I ask the pain, well, what have you come to teach me? Okay. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the songs that I've created, I've had the blessing to, I don't even say that I created them. I channeled them or I received them. So when people say, oh, I love your song, I'm like, this is our song. I just happen to be the bullhorn to say, hey, you know, I'm the the male woman for that. I'm delivering the message, but it doesn't belong to me. This is something that we all need to hear and all need to be reminded of. And it's about looking for the wisdom beyond what hurts. I think that sometimes we choose to evolve our awareness, to evolve our selves through either great love or great pain. And a lot of times we're choosing through pain. It's not like we're, great love is not advertised on the media. And great love, like really the good stuff, that's not really marketable because it's so available and it's free and abundant. So there's more marketing and more focus on things that are not so balanced. You can hear a sad love song, and I think that's okay. I think sad love songs are a part of the life experience. But when you harp on that, are you opening yourself up to receive the wisdom that heartbreak or that experience gave you? So my approach is like, okay, it hurt. And what is that teaching me? It's not teaching me I need to control people. I need to cut. It's like, no, I'm a sovereign being. I was created with a purpose. What is the purpose of this? So I don't have the liberty, or I didn't have the liberty of escaping the pains that I was going through drugs, through other people, through, moving around state to state. We all have a different way of running from what hurts. We all have a different way of processing pain. And I think that is so important to really just stop wiggling and face like a confessional of, I had this beautiful career of modeling that looks so brilliant on the outside. And through that beauty, there was a lot of pain and a lot of things that I wasn't processing.
Go ahead.
I couldn't run anymore. So people see you like, oh, you're so beautiful. And then you tell them like, yeah, but it took me 3 hours to get dressed this morning because I couldn't get out of bed. It's just honoring my work now. This first project is honoring the transition from having a very successful material career to then coming to Savannah, being kind of stripped down to my soul and my spirit, and then rebuilding and re-expressing myself from like, yeah, this is what you saw me doing, but this is the surface of the things you couldn't see. And it's medicine because these are messages that I'm saying to myself. I didn't go into this album and say, what do people need to hear? What will they like for me to say? What would they like for me to give them? What will be popular? What will go viral? I didn't think about that. I went in there and I said, what is truth? What is my truth? What do I really feel like? And a lot of the flows with that, when I would sit and listen to it, I said, this is just medicine. And sometimes medicine is challenging. When I would get sick as a child and my dad would come with that cod liver oil or that castor oil, I wasn't always like, woo! Like sometimes I was just like, but I felt I would always feel better. And I'm not saying that these songs are going to like, smack you upside the head. But I know for me, as I'm going through the process of creating them, allowing them to be mixed, allowing them to be mastered. Every time that we focus on one particular song, it's like I'm going through a whole process of really understanding not only for me then, but what it means for me now. So I think that's what I mean when I say medicine. It's like something that you can take and it's going to inspire you to do better. It's going to inspire you to be not even better, but be your natural state. Because medicine is not supposed to cover up symptoms or take away the feeling of the pain. The medicine is balanced state is, which I have come to remember is peace and health and prosperity. That's my natural state. That's zero. So if I'm anywhere in the negative or too high I need to come back to base. So that's what I mean when I say medicine. My music is medicine.
All right. Yes, indeed. What we're going to do, we're going to come back and we're going to be rolling with regard to your work, the work that you're about to put out there, and also your tour that you're going to be doing. But I got to throw this out here. Now, just like you talk about junk food, that all food ain't good for you. Guess what? All medicine ain't good for you because some medicine they tell you take, bam. It's gonna give you some other reactions that cause it's problematic. And so I'm gonna throw this out here to our producer, Julius Hall. Julius Hall, he likes to go to the store. He loves Skittles. He loves Skittles. He know he ain't supposed to eat them Skittles. Yeah. We're gonna go to a commercial. Come back to you. Run, tell that. Sister Temakha Maakheru in the house. Commercial time. Back in the house, Ron Tell that, Jamal Teray, and we got a special guest, and the special guest, Sister Temakha Maakheru. And so you said something. You talk about dragonflies. But I gotta say this right here. Some people, that's why I'm gonna say this right here. You bringing the fireflies back. For some, you bringing the fireflies. Now, some of y'all saying, why are you talking about fireflies? Because, some of us call them lightning bugs. Y'all know we call them lightning bugs, fireflies. Other people call them fireflies, because that was some of y'all know, but we call them lightning bugs. Guess what? When you have fireflies or lightning bugs in the environment, then that means that environment is not polluted. So I'm saying to you, my sister, what you're doing, the work that you're doing, you bringing the fireflies back, and the things that you're doing, you bringing the fireflies back. Because again, you making sure the environment is unpolluted. And so what is the work that you got out here right now that's going to unpollute the minds, unpollute the souls?
I'll do my best. I hope that it could have the firefly effect. And with that being said, I have to be honest, it's been a while since I've seen a firefly. I don't think I've seen one in a few summers. So Savannah, that's better. Okay?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I'll say, I don't only write songs, I also write poetry, I also write books. So my first book is called Abundaverse, The Remedy. And this is what I would call an art book. So there's a lot of visual art in it, visual art that I created once I moved here from New York City to Savannah as part of my self-therapy. A lot of the creativity that I practiced as a young child kind of took a back burner when I became a professional model. So once I sat down and really vibing with the fireflies and dragonflies, I allow those other outlets of creativity that I love to express themselves. So much of the art is in here, but there's also a biography about how I transitioned from being a professional model to now being an award-winning musician. So when I left New York, I kind of just was like put my hoodie. A lot of my people that I work with, they're like, yo, it's Fashion Week. Where you at, T? Like, what's going on? Where are you at? I didn't know that I was being called to be on another path. After 16 years, it was time for me to make a transition. And it wasn't easy because we're not really taught when you're successful at something, want to be successful at other things. A lot of my upbringing, I had many interests, many things that I was into. And sometimes I would attract elders or adults that would be like, oh, you need to focus on one. Oh,
yes.
Oh, you need to hone in. You can't be a master. What do they say? A jack of all trades, but a master of none. These little silly things that we hear.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that we're always allowing me to be myself as opposed to indoctrinating me into a life that would make them feel comfortable. So I would hear these things and be like, all right, and go do my thing. So this book is a offering from my heart. All the images that you see on the cover, all the images that are seen inside are expressions of my creativity with the encouragement and with the intention to inspire the reader to really express yourself, but be truthful, really be yourself, not just, hey, be yourself, like what we just say, but really, what does that mean? Study your childhood, study the things that you really firefly, and put love into those things, and you will be so surprised by what, you know, the greater power or the Most High will do when you focus on the fun and what feels good instead of just focusing on the funds. Because I made a lot of funds modeling, but I didn't necessarily feel at peace at all of those moments. I could put on a face though, you know, I could put some mascara on and a lipstick and make it look. But now when people ask me how I'm doing and how I'm feeling, and I say I feel great, I mean it on so many levels and so many chakras, you know, where it's like, there's no need for validation. There's no need for approval. There's no need for, am I good enough? It's like, how about I take all of that and focus that goodness into what I have to offer? So this book talks about my journey from modeling into creating my first single. And my first single is called Nori, which is another offering that I have. Nori is a Creole word that means nourishment, right? So it's my first song, first studio recorded song that's been released in a professional setting. And this song is opening the way to this path of mine to offer something that you can listen to with your mama, your auntie, and your grandmama, and don't feel weird. You know, because some of the songs that I hear that are in the genre of rhythm and blues, they don't sound like the artists have taken the time to study what rhythm and blues, but you know, these forefathers and foremothers. Important to focus on those things when you are producing and call yourself an artist. You need to study what it is that you are, study your craft. So Nori is an offering of nourishment, and that's available on my website, temakha.com. And also my third focused offering is a meditation album. So part of my self-healing journey and self-practitioner. So while living in New York, doing Fashion Week by day, in the nighttime, I was studying these ancient Kemetic, or what modern day people who aren't informed will call Egypt, practices from my ancestors, our ancestors, and learning how to manage energy in a way, or chi, or life force energy in a way to direct it to healing. You know, to, if you learning how to meditate and focus your energy in a way where you can relieve those things. So I was studying those things, and when I became a certified to do level 2, you're able to work on other people, right? So when I started working on other people, creating a space of healing for other people, and I don't claim to be a healer. I don't do healing. I facilitate healing, because as soon as you say you're a healer, that's when you got a line of like 4,000 people outside of your house like, hey, fix me. And I'm like, let me teach you how to fix yourself. And in fact, there's nothing to fix because you're not broken. But that's another study, another conversation. But the meditation album that I created was because in doing these things that we can have access to, because I'm not going to be able to physically go touch everybody that I know could benefit from this. You know, so how about I put this into something that people can listen to on the go? You know, listen to, you're having a panic attack right now. Like, you might need to listen to something right now to help you calm down. You might not have time to book a session with someone and get somebody to listen to. You might need to sit with yourself right now. So that was a very vulnerable project because it was completely freestyled. And it came up in the middle of me recording my first R&B themed, or what my producer calls Spirit Soul album. So in the middle of doing like this more, I won't say it's not as meditative. It's got some R&B, it's got some hip hop, you know, but in the middle of creating that album, then I'm like, hey, I want to do a meditation album, completely freestyled it. And then would come out of the studio and sometimes would second guess myself, like, oh, maybe I need to try it again. But then when I would really just sit and listen to what I was saying in the meditations, it was like, no, that's it. Like, leave it alone. Like, let it be what it is. And the feedback that I've been getting from that has been so humbling. Guided meditations on YouTube, insight timer. I love feeling good. And one way that I like to feel good is to go within. And what I would hear from a lot of people is that it feels so good to hear that coming from a melanated woman's voice. You know, someone who sounds like your auntie, someone who sounds like your cousin. You know, not to have any issue with any other people who practice the art, but a lot of times these art forms are presented as if they were authored and originated through people who are actually students of the art. You know, so to step into that space and to create that meditation album and to get the feedback like, oh, I'm so relieved. I love. Really? Oh gosh. Like, okay. Wow. Humbling. Like, wow. So that is my third offering. And then my fourth one is more community interactive. Is a lot of times people come and they're expecting me to perform, which I do have a performing aspect. I love to do musical performances, but I also host drum circles. So drum circles are in the moment music making opportunities for anybody with an instrument to come and play with everybody in the circle. So people come and they think I'm going to entertain them, and it's like the jig is up. You're actually a part of this experience, and we're not trying to put on a show. We're really learning and remembering how to listen to each other and how to, without networking, without what do you do and what's your resume, like really just getting straight to that play. If you can go back to being in the sandbox, or, you know, go back to playing and running and climbing trees with your friends, there wasn't a whole lot of to do between, hey, I like this person, hey, let's play tomorrow, you know, let's be connected. So something that happens in the drums, release and inspiration that people think is me. I'm like, no, it's you. Like, you did it for yourself by just showing up and being able to play. So those are the things that I have to offer, and all of them come from a space of creativity and using music as a tool to build community, using music as a tool to remember our peace, our true nature, and use.
So I was listening to you, and a part of some of the things you're saying, because again, you talk about traditions that comes from us with regard to African people. And so sometimes, so often, we disconnect from who we are, and we look at other people to teach us and tell us when something actually is tied to our foundation, when it's a part of our story, a part of natural who we are. And some other people here, when I hear you talk about, they talk about the Ka and the Ba, that these entities within us, that, you know, some people say the souls, but then also it's the study of the soul, some call psychology, but that's what's going on. And so with regards to that, understand the power of all of that, and that African people must understand our foundations and the roles of all of them. And I had people go and say that African people know nothing about philosophy until the 1970s. And I tell you what, the oldest book in the world, the Teaching of Ptah Hotep, what is that? That's philosophy. It's out of Kemet. It's out of Africa. So we also embrace these other people with regards to this. And now I say that's powerful for you to be the one to talk about this and share this. When you say other people now, and actually now understanding we have been a part of it, because you have now exposed them to that. When they say, hey, to find a sister who's doing this right here, that's why, again, we must be in all these places, because we are part of the foundation. And so with that, I got to throw this out there to you. You hear this word, and I'm just throwing. You hear it. All of us hear the word holistic. What is being holistic? What is holistic to you? What is being holistic?
Oh, the word game. Let's see. What is holistic? It sounds like an adjective that describes something that is whole. So I just want to break off the listic and just make it whole. And what is whole? It's total. It's the totality of nothing can be added, nothing can be taken away. Whole. Now that's whole with the spelling of, you got to be careful when we're talking about words, because things can get divided and confused and interpreted all types of way. But I look at whole as the root of holistic. And if something is whole, nothing can be added to it and nothing can be taken away. And that in itself is a meditation that you could really unpack and dive into about oneself. I just experienced the transition of my patrilineal grandfather, the patriarch of our family.
Okay.
And he transitioned in January.
Mm-hmm.
And transitions that I experienced when I got the news that my grandfather had graduated to angel status in the ancestor realm.
That's right. That's right.
All I could do was smile and say, "Good job, Pop-Pop." You know, like, good job, Pop-Pop. Like, wow. And there was not a moment of deep sadness or deep grief or deep despair. It was only like giddy, like a child, like, oh, so what does this mean? You know, so what does this mean? Holistic, and I break it down to whole. I have to think about life, and his transition has helped to remind me that life is an eternal experience and there's no loss and there's only gains. You know, sometimes I think about him and I just want to hug. You know, I want to hear. He's not a man. He wasn't a man for many words, but when he did say something, he meant it. One of the last times I kicked it with him, he's like, "I like your bush," talking about my afro. And I'm like, word. I appreciate that, Pop-Pop. Like, I know you used to rock one of these too. You got a little baby bald head now, but I know you used to rock one of these too. But I say all that to say, going back to whole, having the attitude that life is eternal helped me to embrace the transition of my grandfather with joy and with true release, so that I could really receive the peace and really receive the support of knowing everything is good, even in what we perceive to be gone or what we perceive to be let go. And sometimes I'm noticing in a lot of the environments where a lot of my people, the projects that my people are subject in the state of, there could be high crime, there can be high, death tolls, tragic loss. And I think that all that is connected to a way of thinking and a way of being. I'm not here to say what is right. I'm not here to say what is wrong. But in the whole of it, I know from my walk and in my journey, what I've been blessed to experience. Nothing really can be added. Nothing really can be taken away. And when I really sit and when I really meditate with that, I really can't be upset. I can't be distraught. I can't be discouraged. I can't be depressed, because it's like, it's just love and more love and more love and more love. But it took work and reframing my mind and my behavior to match that, so that I could really feel it. Sometimes if you've been living in a state of being unwhole, not feeling whole, all the while you were whole, but you didn't feel whole, there were a few holes in your wholeness. When you are getting back to accepting that you are whole, you're going to kind of fight with yourself. The thoughts and the lies and the chaos and the destruction, you gotta kind of go through all of that so that you can come back to the feeling of what it is that you've always been, which is whole. And I think that a medicine or a remedy or a community or a person or a being or you or me, we're all already whole. It's just making sure that our thoughts and our behaviors don't override that or attempt. Wholeness in me honors and respects the wholeness in you. And we can learn a lot more from each other in a very holistic way when we humble ourselves and sit still enough to allow ourselves to receive that from each other.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely. And we're going to take another commercial. And we're going to come back and get into how people can support you with regard to your effort, and then also the tour that you have coming forward. So again, we're going to go to a commercial. This is Rontel there in the house. Sister Temakha Maakheru in the house. We're going to come back shortly.
This peaceful place, this serene glen directly behind me, was the site of one of the most horrendous historical events in American history. They sold 429 of 436 slaves that were offered over a 2-day period. When they started selling the first person, it started to rain. And when they sold the last one, it stopped raining. It had rained torrentially. And they said it was as if God was crying. We are going to save this site for posterity. The city of Savannah is trying to develop it, but it should be kept as a memento and as a memory for what man ought not to do to one another.
Until that, in the house again, we are back. Jamal Teray, Sister Temakha Maakheru, great artist here in the country. That's the entire United States and the world for that matter. And she got some things going on. She has her album. She also has her book. She has other projects that she's working on, other efforts she's working on. She's instructing, she's teaching, she's guiding people. And so how can people get in touch with? How can people secure your services? How can they secure album? Can secure your work? Give it to them.
So if you heard something or felt something from our conversation today that was inspiring, that was insightful, that made you say, I want to look further into this, you are welcome to visit my website. Through my website, you can download my music. Through my website, you can download my meditations and also be in the loop for when my R&B album drops. And you can also support my GoFundMe campaign that I am creating with my team to promote the release of my first album. So that website is www.temakha.com. That's TEMAKHA.com. And I would be happy to receive your emails, your feedback, and just for you to take a moment to see what it is I have to offer. And if it resonates for you, letting me know how you like it. Let me know how it helps you to feel. So again, that's temakha.com. That's TEMAKHA.
And so the producer, Mr. Producer, you can put that inside again on our graphics, have it also on our ticker tape, so people can know and support you with regards to that. Because again, you have a 10-city tour, at least a 10-city tour that you're looking at doing. So,
and we are we're like 35% towards the goal too. I started promoting earlier this year. So we're like 35% through the goal. So the donations have been coming in. I want to say thank you to all of you beautiful, powerful members of my community. I call it my community of supporters. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for sharing it. That the GoFundMe campaign is already showing to be very successful. And I'm very certain that it will get to, if not to, it's 10,000. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to just be in this portion of the race, to be in this portion of the journey. And I look forward to the support that's coming in because I know it's coming.
and that's why I want to make sure that you let the folks know what's the amount, what's the goal amount that you're seeking. And so with regard to that, so they know. And so those out there, we say share, run, tell that, share the information, share GoFundMe, also website, visit, support. So again, and what's the goal again, so the people can know? What's the goal when you GoFundMe?
The goal is $10,000. So $10,000 for a 10-day tour. We've already started to take a peek at some of the cities that we're going to be doing. Of course, Savannah is going to be one of the stops on the tour. And again, this project is a project that is my first album, and making sure that I have my team, making sure that we got our stage, making sure that we're able to create a production that is quality, that is exquisite, so that I can get on that stage and pour out this love, pour out this inspiration that I've been building with my team. This album we've been working on for the last 3 years. So there's a lot of momentum, there's a lot of focus into it. And this part is be able to fund a process of promoting it, pollinating it, get my bumble on.
Excellent, absolutely excellent. Yes, indeed. And so some people just joining us. So with regards to your music, what would you say is your musical styles or your musical style? Oh, no, wait, I need rewind. And it's something that you have shared also. And we want people out there with regards to checking out the show. I understand that on Run Tell That, you people heard me just outside of Run Tell That. I tell people that all of us have been ordained to be here. All of us have been ordained to be here. No child is an accident. No child is an accident. So because no one's an accident, that means that you have some purposes in your lives. Not purpose, purposes in your life. That again, you have purposes. And when you had shared that people are trying to have you compartmentalize into one area, I tell folks, no, that you have all these abilities, that you are a multi-talented genius. Each one of them are multi-talented geniuses. So we're supposed to manifest all realms of that. That don't let somebody have you compartmentalize just into this right here, because they were comfortable with that. They had not fulfilled and not had tapped within themselves to know who they are and what they're about. So that's why, again, you have manifested your divine purposes, and that there's still many more to go, but that's what is happening. So that is crucial for all of us out there. When you were hearing or talk about this, that's what's going on. Divine purposes, not just one thing you should be doing. You should be doing several things because you do it anyway. If you are a son, if you are a daughter, guess what? Then you become a father, you become a mother, or you become an uncle, an aunt, or you become a guardian within the community. You become a grandparent. So guess what? You have various roles. And that's what we should be doing. Changing of the seats. Some African traditions become the changing of the seats. That's what you're supposed to do. Change the seats. You're not supposed to just be stagnant. No. Be pollinated.
Yes.
Be pollinated.
Get to work.
Pollinated. So again, so those just joining us, what would you say is your musical stylings or your musical style?
It's a flow. It's a flow. Like when people ask me words, it's a flow. I didn't have any, I wasn't listening too much to any other projects while creating this project. I was really listening to the music that my brother was composing. Like I said, my brother, he goes by Corduroy. That's his artist name. He created a lot of the beats, and I would listen to the beats and just really interpret what I felt like the beat was saying and what I felt my heart was channeled to say. So it's a flow. Like I can't say, I of course have been inspired, and I am the sum of all the inspirations that I've taken in,
Yes.
Rhythmically. But falls in together. If you listen to one song here, you'd be like, oh, she's this kind of artist. And then you hear this song, you'd be like, wait, that's got a little bit of that in it. So it's a lot of dynamics. And I'm looking forward to sharing it. In the divine time, because it's divine purpose, and purposes also have a divine time. You can't rush the release. But the style is a flow. The style is a flow. Sometimes it's a challenge. My producer, who has much experience, 40 years of experience in the music industry, sometimes I'll be on a flow where the song is like, back in the day when disco songs, it'd be 10 minutes long. It's like, okay, we got to make this able to have the potential to be on the radio. So let's, cut it down to 3 minutes. Let's cut it down to, 4 minutes, So I think the best way to describe it is it's a flow. It's a flow of truth. And I'm not authenticating myself as I have the truth, the only truth. I think we all have lowercase t's, right? Lowercase truths that are resonant and relevant to our life experience, which is true. It's true that I am a woman, and it's true that I have an afro. That might not be true for you. You might be a man, and all of our lowercase t's come together to create the capital truth, the truth that's unmoved, which is that we are here, that we are whole, that we are here for many purposes that all serve ultimately one purpose. And it's not, for me to say, I got the answer and y'all got to figure it out. Like, no, I think it's something that we all are supposed to contribute to and flow with. So that's the...
Absolutely. That's right. And we planting the seeds for them to be nurtured. The seeds will be nurtured, and then they grow. And we say, "Yan grow my pole." That we could grow into sacred trees. And so that's what comes into play. And so that flow, when you were saying the flow, it flows like the river. It is a natural course with regard to that. And so again, and it is all wonderful for all of us. But now we're gonna get into some harshness right now. Some harshness.
Right. Let's go. I'm ready. I stay ready, so I don't have to get ready. What's up?
Ooh, that's it. I thought when you understand what you are about, you don't have to. I tell people, you ain't gotta ask. You ain't gotta send me no questions. If I am about who I say I am, you can just engage me in conversation, and then I can go and do it. So that's what we understand. That's what it's about. So the harshness is this: what advice or suggestions would you give to that person out there who's on that same path similar to yours, but they get those obstacles, because that's something that happens, and that deters some of us, and that they never go through, under, around, or over the obstacles. They hit them and it stops them. Just like you said, somebody said you should be doing this only, and because that's some of the stuff that they get. So what advice would you give to that person out there checking out the show, who can also pass it on to someone else? It may not be them, but they might know someone that they've got those obstacles in their way.
Obstacles. Change your dictation of what you call an obstacle. Look at your personal experience, everything that you consider to be an obstacle, and change that word to opportunity. And then smile and embrace that opportunity. That would be my advice. I have had a beautiful, powerful, amazing journey in life so far. And the reason why about it is because it was daytime sometimes and it was nighttime sometimes. And I learned, and I'm still learning and practicing, not to let what I feel and who I am variate with whether or not it's daytime or nighttime. And I look at obstacles as a blessing from the Creator, giving me some weight so I can do my weightlifting, so I can do my squats, so I can get in shape. Because clearly you have a blessing for me, but maybe my biceps aren't strong enough to hold it so that I can receive it. And then the other aspect of that is stop being an obstacle to yourself. Make sure that whatever teachings that you're digesting, whether they be spiritual, whether they be intellectual, make sure that they truly resonate with where you want to be and who you want to be in life. Some of us are practicing things and taking on things because we haven't felt whole, and it's not the system that you're trying. The obstacle is you trying to pick up all these different things instead of really sitting with yourself and trusting your path, and then being consistent. Because one thing about water is going to get her way, whether it's through a tsunami, whether it's one drop at a time. Water is like this that shows you how to be whatever you need to be for the environment. If it's too cold, I'm going to expand. How many of us expand when it's cold? A lot of us contract. A lot of us go hide. A lot of us complain. But water doesn't. Water still finds room to expand when it's cold. And you know that every time you put a jar of water in the refrigerator, in the freezer, and forgot about it. She busts out of that. She's like, oh, I can't be contained in that. I'm going to expand. If it's too hot, I'm going to evaporate. And then if you need to be cleansed, I'm going to come out the sky and baptize you. So I look at obstacles, the teachings that I've subscribed to have helped to remind me that obstacles are genuine opportunity for growth, and specifically spiritual growth. Because I don't know the obstacles that you've been through. I could look at your life and be like, that's really not that deep. But for you, it will be deep because your spirit is telling you this is deep. Pay attention. Everybody else will be like, oh, don't pay no attention. Just do this. It's like, but you have to really, as you evolve and as you move, and as my first lady used to say, just keep on living. As you just keep on living, you start to realize that everything really is that deep. And everything really is that important when it comes to your life. So I look at an obstacle, smile, and say, bring it on. You know, my father was in the military for 10 years. So him and my mother created my vessel while he was still in the military. So a lot of that energy of just like, warrior, bring it on, let's go. Like that comes out when I'm feeling challenged. I have been cultivated to still find a level of empowerment. So because we're all going to have obstacles. When you have an obstacle, switch the way you look at it. Say it's an opportunity. Smile and do what it is that you have to do. But most importantly, be who it is you need to be. Because sometimes that's all you need to do for the obstacle to just move on out the way. Sometimes we're fighting battles that weren't ours anyway. You know, I firmly believe in the power of prayer. And everything that we've said in this interview, in this interview has been prayer. You know, prayer is anytime you open your mouth and speak, not just, on Sunday morning. Like, no, anytime you're speaking, make that a prayer, make that an affirmation, something that you do will to meditate on. And don't speak things that aren't true. I can't do that. The last thing that I want to do. Allow yourself to embrace the fact that it's all opportunity. An opportunity for you to grow. Absolutely.
And those will be the last words on this segment of Run Tell That. And it's been an honor, a joy to have Sister Temakha Maakheru in the house with us. And give the folks your website again so they can contact you, get a hold of you. What's your website?
So it's www.temakha.com. That's TEMAKHA. So I look forward to hearing from you all. It's been an honor to be on this. Thank you for your time, brother. Thank you for your humor.
And
your devotion to your mission.
And so the last thing, if we do this with everyone on Run Tell That, so I have to ask you this question, and I ask that you please get it right, please get it correct, please get it right. And the question is, what is the best high school in Savannah, Chatham County, Georgia? What is the best high school in Savannah, Chatham County, Georgia?
The best high school
in Savannah, Chatham County, Georgia.
In Savannah, Chatham County, Georgia.
Yes, we can say the world, but I was just going to soften up. Just in Savannah, Chatham County, Georgia. What is the best high school?
Well, I have to say, I didn't go to high school here, and
you ain't had to go. You just.
So my answer would have to be influenced by what I have heard through those elders, wise elders that I have sat with who have wisdom. So I heard through the grapevine. I didn't go to school here, but I did hear through the grapevine that the best high school had to do with some peoples that were warriors.
Woo! 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 That's what I'm talking about. She's a genius. She's a genius. Multi-talented genius in the world. Bam! She's ordained to be here. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Our sister, Temakha Maakheru in the house. Support her. Support her. Support her. Yes, sister. We're going to say, all you, we'll see you next week. We say peace and blessings, support our sister, and keep rolling on, keep going forward. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Bam. Big out.
Like this.